Hello everybody, how is it going? My name is Lucas, and are you currently trying to decide between the Schecter SLS Elite model and the Keith Merrow Signature model? Well, have no fear or worries. I am going to detail the differences between them, kind of go over some of the differences to help you decide. And guys, this is your first time here, if you've been here before, you really should think about subscribing. I do gear reviews, I do Axe Effects tutorials, I do mixing tutorials too, and I do giveaways from time to time. I don't want you to miss any of that cool stuff, so make sure you are subscribed. And if you want to check out either one of these cool guitars, check in the description down below because I have some Sweetwater affiliate links, and if you click on those, they help me out a lot and they help me bring more content and gear stuff to you guys, so that will be greatly appreciated. Okay, enough of me rambling, let's get into the differences. So these guitars are very similar. I'm gonna primarily be telling you my experience with the 7-string models of both, but it pretty much applies to the 6-string versions as well. There's a few little differences, but it's pretty much all of the same. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of read over some of the specs, gonna tell you some of my experiences with both of them, and then there'll be some audio examples at the end. This is going to be more talking than audio examples, so if you want just pure audio examples, just skip straight to the end, and I'll show you some of the audio examples whenever I unboxed both of them, and from actually my unreleased boxing video of the KM7 that I got. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to put both specs on the screen so you don't have to just look at me the entire time that I am just rambling. So let's go over some of the things that are the same with both of these guitars. For the SLS and the KM, they are both made in Korea. I'm pretty sure they're still made at the World Instruments. That's where a lot of the good Korean guitars get made. And if I miss anything or misspeak or get anything wrong, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll definitely put it in the I'll pin comment at the top, and I'll correct everything that I got wrong. So they're both solid body. Both the finishes on both of these guitars are gloss. The neck shape on both of them is ultra thin C. Both are neck through. One of the things about the neck that is a little bit different is that the SLS has a raw finish to it. It's completely raw on the back of the guitar, and the KM is painted, and then it's sanded. Both feel really great, just a little bit different feels. It kind of just depends on what you like and don't like when it comes to necks. Both have locking tuners. They both are Schecter locking tuners. They both have a 12 to 16 compound radius on the neck. If you get the Telesto Gray KM, that one's gonna have the ebony fingerboard. All of the SLSs have the ebony fingerboard. If you get the Snow White KM 6 or 7, that one's gonna have a maple board on it. They both have 24 frets, both have stainless frets, which is awesome. They're both 26.5 on the scale length. The nut length is both 1.889, and they both have string through hip shot bridges on them. Both of the guitars both feel fantastic. Both necks feel great on them. They both play exceptionally well. Feel wise, these guitars are very, 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 very similar. Now, they do have some differences in them, and they also both have a truss rod adjustment at the bottom of the neck, which is so great because it's so useful. I wish every guitar had this. Now, some of the differences. Let's read off some of the differences. Now, for the KMs, they're not going to have a top on them. They're going to be completely painted, no matter which color that you get. For the SLS, they're going to have a maple top on them, depending on what color you get. The KM is going to have a little bit more sharper horns, per se. When the cutaways, the horns are going to be a little bit more sharper than the SLS, and that is going to affect where the front strap mount is going to be. On the SLS, it's in the front like it is traditionally everywhere else. On the KMs, it's too thin to mount it on the front, so that it's mounted on the back. For the neck material, they're both multi-plies. So for the C7, which is the SLS, that one is maple, walnut, and paduk. I think I said that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. And for the KM7, it is a 3-piece maple neck. And like I said before, on the SLSs, you can see the wood because it's a raw finish on the back, which is really nice. Inlay wise, for the SLS, it's going to have abalone offset dots on it, going to have reverse inlays on it, meaning that it's going to be at the top and then it'll show up on the bottom. The positioning is like that on both of them, but for the KM, it's going to have aluminum offsets. So it's not going to be abalone or shiny. Honestly, I'd rather the aluminum offsets on the KM. I think it looks a little bit better. And you're going to have abalone / mother of pearl. It's kind of the same, pretty much the same thing. And then on the fret markers on the top, I'm pretty sure on the KM you have lumen lays. And then on the SLS you have your normal mother of pearl. For the nut is the same length, but it lists that it's a little bit different whenever you're looking at the spec sheet. So for the C7, it's going to have an Ernie Ball compensated nut, and it says for the KM that it is melamine is the material for it. I'm pretty sure the KM has that same compensated nut though. I'm like 98% sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now we're going to come to one of the big differences in it, and one of the reasons why I had to end up sending back the KM7 that I had, and it's going to come down to the pickups. So both have Fishman pickups in it. They both have Fishman wiring. It's just done a little bit differently. On the KMs, both 6 and the 7, you're going to get the Keith Merrow signature custom pickups, and they're custom because they're customized to the KM hybrid. That's the ones that I'm talking about now. Is a KM hybrid. I should have said that way at the beginning. But price wise, they're both the same. They're both like $13.99 and $14.99 depending on if you get the 7-string or not. I think the KM7 is like $100 more expensive than the SLS, but prices can fluctuate a little bit, so don't take my price listing at face value there. So that's the biggest thing, is going to be the pickups. That's why I ended up sending back the KM7. I wanted to put some passive-sized Tosin Fishmans in them, and the Tosin Fishmans they're in shape of a brick. They're active, but they're in the shape of a brick. I say a brick, they're basically like a square, like a covered pickup. I wanted to drop it right in to the KM7, and it would have been cool. But the thing about the KM6 and the KM7 is you only get access to one Fishman voice, and you have a 3-way toggle like on a Les Paul. It's a little toggle switch. And for Fishmans, you can have up to like 3 voices, or you can even have 2. And that is what the SLSs give you. They give you that option. So you have your pickup selector is a blade. It's a traditional blade. You can do 3-way, or if you want to rewire it to a 5-way, you definitely can. And dropping in soap bar pickups on the 7 it's a lot easier. It slips right in and it fits right in. On the KMs, it is routed specifically for passive size pickups. So you can't put any covered pickups in there. You can, but you're gonna have to chip away some of the guitar, which I really wasn't comfortable with doing since I just bought it brand new. You're gonna have to chip away stuff if you put it in there. Now, if you want to put another passive-sized Fishman in there, which the only other passive-sized Fishman they really make that looks like a traditional passive pickup is going to be their open cores, which is kind of similar to the Keith Merrows in a way, but not at the same time. The neck's the same, and the bridge is tweaked a little bit. So that was kind of a limiting factor for me, and that's why I had to end up sending back the KM7 that I bought. I loved it. It was great. I love the Telesto Gray. That's the one I got. It was magnificent. I love the inlays on it. I loved a lot about it. I love the neck. I love the satin on the neck. I really like the Tosin Bossy Fishmans. I get along with them really well, and it's easy for me to dial in tone with it. Good thing about the SLS, both the 6 and the 7, like I said, you have that blade selector right here. On the 7, you have your soap bars. So, I mean, you can literally put any, you can put an EMG soap bar in here. You can put pretty much any active soap bar you want in here if you're unhappy with the pickups that it comes with. The SLSs come with Fishman Moderns, and as I've kind of already talked about, I have plans on swapping out the Moderns in here for Tosin Fishmans, which is great. It's easy to do. Now, like I was saying, on the KMs, you kind of can't. You're stuck. So, active-wise, you have to do an active that is a passive-sized, or you can't do any covers, or you can rip everything out and just go with plain passives. On the SLS 6, you kind of have a lot more options there because the routes are cut in a square, so it's not rounded like it is in the KMs. So, I mean, you can put, if you don't like the monitors that are in there, you can put KC Fishmans, you can put Abbasi's, Alders, Devin Townsend's. You want to throw in some EMGs? Throw in some EMGs in there, and it's great. With the SLSs, you both have access to Fishman's Voice 1 and Voice 2. If you buy some of the Fishman pickups that have 3 voices on it, you can either change your pickup select to a 5-way, or you can use it off of the pots right here, because the pots are push-pull, so it activates different voices. The neck one, the volume is the neck, and the bridge is the tone back here. And that's another difference on the KMs, is that they only have one volume knob and no tone knob, which I normally don't like having tone knobs on my guitars, but having that tone knob there to push pull is kind of nice, because you can access that second voice. And some of you out there might actually want a tone knob because you like it. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of audio examples from when I unboxed my SLS that I have right here, and then I will play you some audio from the Keith Merrow, and I'll kind of talk about the pickups a little bit, and then we'll wrap things up. The sound of the KM, I have Keith Merrow's pickups and another 7-string guitar that I have, and the customs are very different from it. The best way I can describe it, it's a lot like Lundgren pickups if you've ever played or heard those before. It's very dry, it's very tight. If you're into that kind of stuff, they'd be absolutely perfect for you. After playing with it for a little while, I just didn't gel with it. Kind of like my pickups to not be as dry. Like, I like them tight, but they were just really dry for me, and I just wasn't getting along with them, and I couldn't put the pickups I wanted into them. So that is why, like I said, I ultimately ended up sending it back. But if you get along with that, by all means, please get it. Like I said, both of these guitars are very fantastic. They're both very good. They just have kind of slight differences. So you really got to pick out the one that you think that would be better for you. They both don't really have forearm contour. It's both, this one's an arched, the SLS is arched, and the KMs are completely flat. There is no forearm contour on either one of them, so you may kind of have to adjust to that. Just putting that out there, just so you know. And I think that is going to about wrap things up with it, guys. So, like I said before, if you're a major fan of Keith, if you like everything he does, if you're digging the sounds that are coming from those pickups, definitely check out his guitar. Like I said, the colors on them are fantastic, and I loved it a lot. But if you're looking for a little bit more flexibility, if you want some more voices in the Fishmans, if you plan on swapping out the Fishmans like I was doing, definitely check out SLS, both 6 and the 7. And price-wise, these are very, very, very close, and they share a lot of good similarities with them, so you kind of can't go wrong with either one of them. All right, guys, hopefully this video helped you solve some of those questions that you were having about the differences of both. Guys, if you thought this video was cool, leave me a thumbs up. If you aren't subscribed, you really should do so. And like I said, if you want to check out either one of these cool guitars, check in the description down below and have some links to Sweetwater that you can go to and check out. All right, guys, thank you so much for spending some time with me, checking out these both awesome Schecter guitars, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.